You know, we have this bill in front of us today because we instituted a policy in 2023 to bring in the school workers to the UI program. And I've heard over and over this, comparing it to the trades. The thing is, I want to explain a little difference, and I'll be real quick, Mr. President, and I'll offer my amendment. In the trades, a small fraction of the members get laid off, and that is quite typically weather-related. So it's unknown. You never know when, and you never know for how long. And so there were two reasons back when school workers were removed from and exempted from the UI program as to why. It was because the calendar was known and schools couldn't afford to pay the UI insurance premiums. And the bill before us today is proving that. The A5 amendment is incredibly simple. It says we're putting this $100 million into the UI account, but we're going to sunset this on September 10th of 2028. This gives our school districts time to figure out a plan, and it helps us to do things to assist them to create incentives to keep workers, to potentially be flexible, figure out what we can do to show these workers how important they are, because we all agree. Asking for this program to sunset does not mean we do not value the workers. But Mr. President, what we're getting at here is this is something that is known and can be planned for, and for many over the years have considered it to be an actual benefit, because if they have school-age kids, they're at home with their kids when the kids are out of school. But the other thing that isn't being addressed, Mr. President, with the underlying issue where we keep putting money into this fund to help schools pay for the UI insurance for their workers, because remember, the language is this is for covering school employees. Well, Mr. President, many of the school districts around the state hire out the bus services. And a number of schools also hire out the kitchen work, the food service. Mr. President, those companies, because their workers are not employees of the school, aren't eligible for this assistance. And thus the school, as more and more people apply for the uninsurance, and the experience ratings go up and the account gets lower, and then employers across the state have to pay more in, these bus service companies and these food service companies who have contracts with the schools, those contracts are going to go up and up and up to cover those costs. And those schools will not have access to this assistance. So it's the right thing to do to sunset this program and work on a plan to handle this better, to show workers that they're valued, but to come up with a way to do it that is not going to continually be asking our schools to make cuts, say within their classrooms or other ways, because we know at the state level, we are not going to continue to put this money in. We found some this time sitting out in the fund, and as we heard, people really don't want to take that money and do it. And so there's a limited amount, and into the future, we are not going to cover these costs for the schools. I think we can all admit to that. So this sunset is the right thing to do. We're taking care of them for now, but when this money is going to run out, the plan should stop, and we have then 3 years, Mr. President, to figure out how to make this work, and I would request a roll call.